Well, hi guys, welcome back to Linda's Pantry. And today I'm going to show you how I've decided I'm going to sun dry my tomatoes. So I did try sun drying. We had a 1 week of really nice, hot, sunny weather. And I put tomatoes out on the drying racks from my dehydrator, brought them in at night. And by day 4, they were getting dry, but I also saw a spot of mold. So just because of where I live in the Northwest, it's not, I don't think that that's the best way because it still had a day or two to go. And I don't want mold growing on my tomatoes. So that tomato went out the door. I put them in the oven on a really low temperature until they were done. And then a lot of the content that's out there tells you to boil them in 2 cups of water and 1 cup of vinegar for 2 minutes. Well, they turn to mush. So I did not do that. And you salt them. So what I did was I poured boiling water and vinegar over the top of them, and that was it. And here's my end result here. I'm going to give you a taste test. And so then I decided, well, I have all the, this isn't even, this is just not even close to what I have to do. So in here I've got freeze-dried garlic from Thrive because it's so full of flavor. And I did cut these into strips. I cut them into strips and I put them in this pint jar with olive oil. Okay, so I'm going to have a little taste here of one and tell you what I think. And there we go. That's what it looks like. A little dark around the edges, I think, from the oven. But super chewy. Still a little salty because you do salt them heavily. I'm not going to salt as heavy this time, but these will be good for a pasta sauce or I feel like they're still, they're not hard, but they're a little chewier than I would like. So I went to plan B and I dehydrated 3 trays on the Excalibur at 125 degrees until they were dry, crispy, clanky, dry. And here's this beautiful jar, quart jar in olive oil with spices. I put herbs in here. I didn't put any garlic in here this time. It's got it in the spice mix. And I just put these in. Now, I did not julienne these. What I did was, once they were dry, then I put them in the boiling water and vinegar for probably 30 seconds to 45, maybe 45 seconds. It wasn't, I don't think it was even a full minute. But let me just show you. This is what you have. You have a leathery tomato. Bursting with tomato flavor. So good. So delicious. And 3 trays made this full quart. To me, that's a winner. And that's how I'm going to do it for you. So I'm going to show you exactly what to do. And we're going to be saving money because this is a 35-ounce jar that I bought at Costco. We go through them pretty fast. I just bought these less than 3 weeks ago, and we're already down to there. This is $11 at Costco. That's a deal. A little tiny jar, like a half pint jar at the store, at your regular store like Kroger or any of those, is almost $11. It's about $7.85 or something like that. It's expensive. So no, I cannot do that. And I have a plethora of these beautiful Roma tomatoes from my garden, all organic, started them from seed, planted them, and they're just loaded with tomatoes. So come on in, let me show you how to do it. Okay, so this can't be any easier. I'm literally going to cut that Roma in half, beautiful, and place it on my trays. And some of these are bigger than others. You won't be able to stack the trays exactly right above each other because of the thickness of the tomatoes. But that's okay. We'll try to put all of the bigger ones on this tray, the the ones that have a little size to them. So these are so good. They're just beautiful, and I want to preserve them in a couple of different ways this year. And so this is one of them because we do love to have some. I love the fermented tomatoes, but I also love the sun-dried tomatoes, and I really want to do some whole aromas for sauces. I love to put whole tomatoes in my chili or in a stew. It's so wonderful. So this is about as easy as it can get. Just literally cutting them in half. I'm not taking the core out, nothing. If you don't want that stem end, you can pop that out if you want. I don't mind it. It's all edible, so there you go. And if you've sun-dried tomatoes before, leave me a comment in the comment section. How did you do it? I opted out of the oven time only because that's a long time to have your oven on. And like I said, some of them turned a little dark. Not that they're bad. They taste wonderful, but you know what I'm saying? I think aesthetically, I'd like them to look more like, if you look, here's the store-bought, here's that one, and then here's the store-bought, and then that one is a little bit darker. I don't know if that gives you a good visual or not, but always better to have homegrown if you can possibly do it. Did you grow your own tomatoes this year? Let me know. I'm curious. And did you have a good tomato year, or has it been iffy? So it's been a mixed bag, I think, up here. But we've had a lot of success in the garden this year, so super happy about that. And I'm looking forward to next year already, because why not? Okay, this little guy over here, I want to put, like I said, have the bigger ones on this tray. And I'm putting it on the dehydrator at 125. And that's the temperature for vegetables. So I feel like that's where we're going to get. And these are probably, like these bigger ones are probably going to take a little longer than the smaller ones. And that's okay. We'll just let her go, and it's in the garage, so it doesn't bother us. But there's a beautiful tray. I will salt these down, and I just use my sea salt that I get at Costco. And I'll have to clean my counters off when I'm done, just like I did before I started. So you're just going to salt these tomatoes. It will help start the process. And then, that vinegar that you do the solution in, which I will show you when I get to that point, helps preserve and kill any bacteria that might be on there, but it also helps rinse that salt off, the vinegar in the water. Okay, and that one doesn't look like, I don't know. You could actually add spices, but you'd be rinsing them off, so I'm not going to do that. But let's get that one in, and we'll start on the next one. Okay, so the first tray I put in the bottom of the dehydrator, the bottom shelf of the dehydrator. And this is a Rada tomato knife. I've got a link down below. They are fantastic to cut tomatoes. You can slice a tomato as thin as you want, and with this knife, and it's sharp, it's ready to go, beautiful. Well worth it. And they're inexpensive, but okay, that one didn't cut the skin all the way through. Okay, yes. So tell me, if you grew tomatoes, how did they do? What kind did you grow? These are just a Roma. They aren't a San Marzano. I had some seeds that said they were expired, and I thought, well, what the heck? Let's see what happens. And they all germinated, and I think I have 8 in one bed and 4 in the other bed. And trust me when I tell you, it's a lot of tomatoes. They're just heavy with tomatoes. I'm hoping that our weather, and I pull them as soon as they start to blush. So let me show you what I've got 2 big bowls over here with tomatoes that I picked last night. This is a blushing tomato. Now that's going to let off the gas that will help ripen it. Just like if you set your tomatoes next to an apple or a banana, they're going to, it's going to ripen on its own. It's as big as it's going to get. So, you can pick them at this stage and let them ripen. And that's how all of these were picked and ripened. And now it's time to get them on the pantry shelf. And I know you're going to ask, can you leave that in olive oil at room temperature on the shelf? Yes, you can. I'm going to leave them on the shelf in the refrigerator in the garage. So by the time this is all said and done, between fermented tomatoes and sun-dried tomatoes, that little refrigerator will probably be full, but I'll be happy to have that. And then I know it's totally shelf stable and we know where they are. Now this was a patio tomato, and I am going to cut that end off because it's a bigger, end. And we'll go ahead. We're going to dry this bad boy too. It's juicy. And I'm hoping to get 4 trays this time. I don't know if we will or not. But whatever happens, happens. Okay. And then do you buy your starter plants or do you go from seed? I actually will be doing all of my plants from seed this next year as much as I can. Just because it's a good thing to know how to do. And yeah, you just want to make sure that you're saving seeds as well. So you can, and tomato seeds are really easy to save if you want to know how to do that. I'm going to be saving some geranium kiss seeds if they ripen. We may have to put them in the greenhouse, but to finish off the season, because I did plant them from seed late, but you only get 10 seeds a package, which tells me they either don't have very many seeds. It's a hard one to find, and it's a compact little tomato plant, so it's great for patios or your deck or whatever you may have. So, okay, rack 2 is going out, and I'll get started on number 3. And when I'm all done, I will bring you back. Okay, so only 4 trays will fit in here comfortably. You can see though how heavy those are. Woo! Nice. 4 full trays. So I got to keep that in mind. 4 full trays. That will do probably a pint or a quart and a half, or yeah, probably a quart and a half. We'll see. I'm going to have to invest in olive oil. So I've got the setting back there is set on 125 for vegetables. So set your, and it's going to take a while. It may take 24 hours. I don't know, but we're going to leave it go. And there you go. It's going. I'll bring you back when I pull these out. And they're dry and clinky. And yes, ready to turn into sun-dried tomatoes. Yum. Okay, guys. I have the sun-dried tomatoes, or the tomatoes, out of the dehydrator. They're dry and they're ready to get their final rinse. So I salted them, and you want to get that salt off, but you also want to soften these up to a leathery consistency. So what I found, a lot of videos are going to say to boil them in vinegar and water for 2 minutes. That will make them really mushy. Not doing it. So I'm going to take you over to the stove and we are going to boil these in 2 cups of water to 1 cup of vinegar for about 45 seconds is all, and then drain them off and get them as dry as possible. And then we're going to put them in some olive oil with some herbs. Come on. Okay, so my water is boiling. In they go. It may not be enough water, but I'll get these stirred around. Just a good toss, man down, and get them all saturated and soaked. I probably should have done 4 cups. I did 3 trays last time and this was plenty of water, so we're gonna do it this way. I just want to make sure they get to a leathery kind of a state, and it doesn't take long. So, like they're already starting. In fact, I'm going to take some of these out, give myself a little more room, do it in batches, a little bit more of a batch action. That's better. So as long as you can kind of submerge them. I got that one. Slow down. Where'd he go? Oh, he's in danger zone. Okay. And yeah, you just want all the hard spots kind of. So this is now hot and rubbery or leathery. That's really where we want it. So I'm going to go another 10 or 20 seconds and then we'll put the rest of them in. And these are so good. They really are good. And I will give you a taste test and you can see how good they are. Okay, I'm ready. And over here I have just a sheet pan that I have layered with a couple layers of paper toweling. This water out of here. And we'll lay them out for them to dry off as much as possible. You want them pretty dry to go into the olive oil. And there you go. And that took a full 24 hours to dry. You are, actually it was about 26, but every dehydrator is going to be different, and that was on at 125 degrees to, go over that again. And okay, we're almost there. And they absorb quite a bit of water because my level has gone down here. They soak it up. But it should get any bacteria growth. It should inhibit that. And here we go. The rest of them in. Get them all happy. Next time I would do 4 cups of water to 2 cups of vinegar, and you wouldn't have to go in batches on 4 trays. And I think I have another 3 or 4 trays ready to go on the dehydrator. So let me finish up and I'll bring you over to show you how the olive oil comes out. Okay, so this is how we're going to do this. I actually had to start over because I knocked this 4 jars funnel, which let me just tell you, I've got a link down below. These funnels are awesome because it's got your headspace markings right there, so you can watch what's going on. But we don't have to worry about that on this application, but how wonderful it is to have the funnel to get these packed in here. And I'm assuming I'm going to get a pint or a quart and a half because I got a quart out of the 3 trays, but it depends on the size of the tomatoes and all that. So, and I like to pack them in there pretty good. Oh, you know what? I want to empty some out and throw some seasoning. Sorry, I'm all discombobulated here. So we're gonna seasoning. This is a pizza seasoning. We're gonna throw that in. I want a couple teaspoons of that going down, and it doesn't have any salt. It's just garlic and spices. So you're not adding salt. There's still some salt on the tomatoes. There'll still be a little bit of salty flavor on the tomatoes, and they're a really nice rubbery, well, leathery. That's not rubbery. I don't know why I keep saying that, but leathery consistency. And see, you get quite a bit of schmuck on that. Okay, and some more spices. And you could use just Italian seasoning if you wanted, but I like having the garlic in there too. So this has garlic, 2 teaspoons. And pack that jar. I'm gonna pack it pretty good. I might only get a quart, I don't know. Look at that. So this is a great way to save space, because if I was canning tomatoes, that bunch of tomatoes would have been multiple jars of tomatoes, and I may or may not have been able to, you know, have the room for it. You never know. This way I've got room for it. I'm ready to go. And I am storing this. You can store this at room temperature as long as, you know, there's no air. Yeah, we're going to get 1 quart, which is just fine. And I think another teaspoon of this good stuff on top, because you can't have too much, right? Take the glove off. Easy cleanup. And here we go. Okay, that was a skin. So you want to fill your jar with olive oil. And you're going to have to debubble and get in there, because it takes a while for them to really get around to all the tomatoes, if that makes sense. And here we go. Oh, I'm super excited. Now we've got 2, because the jar that I get at Costco that I told you, it cost $11 for that big jar. It goes pretty fast. We can go through it in less than a month. So if I can do out of my own harvest, so I'm debubbling, just like if I was canning. I want to get as much olive oil around all these. I want them all submerged in here. And these are packed in here pretty good. But we have another quart of tomatoes. And this is the nice thing about prepping this way. You're not only putting sun-dried tomatoes or a tomato product on your shelf, you can use this oil to cook things. I put the sun-dried tomatoes that I did that were a little hard. I put that on our spaghetti sauce the other night. I put some of these in egg bites. It's endless what you can do with them. On a muffaletta sandwich. You know, everybody says that's not not authentic, but it's authentic Linda's Pantry. That's how I say it. So again, we'll debubble a little bit. And we'll let these sit in the pantry. Oh yeah, I can see all the spices now. Make sure everything's submerged and you're good to go. You can put these in the fridge. I feel safe having them because these are submerged in olive oil. You can't beat it. And they do darken up a little bit. So, okay, I'm gonna put this little reusable lid on there. And there you go. I've got another batch or another quart of sun-dried tomatoes. So let me give you a taste test real quick. I can't remember if I did that already. So we'll just, if we did, we'll have to give you 2. Okay, I'm ready. Now these have been sitting maybe a week, week and a half. So get your sun-dried tomato out of there. And these were done in the dehydrator. So these are the same product. And we'll see if they stand up to store-bought. Oh, totally. And I can taste the spices a little bit better. In fact, I just got this, so I'm gonna add a little bit of this because I just added Italian seasoning. I'm gonna add a teaspoon of this and mix it in. Why? Because I can. A heaping teaspoon of that. That is wonderful. Okay. I couldn't say, I'm not even joking when I tell you this is just like if I bought them. So please know that you can do this at home, and I hope it inspires you to pick another way to store your tomatoes so all your eggs are not in one basket, because sometimes things happen and things go bad, or you didn't can enough, or you don't have, you know, the right stuff on the shelf, and you want to make sure your pantry is well rounded. Okay, I can't wait to see you next time for another delicious recipe, quite possibly using sun-dried tomatoes. All right, bye. So I truly hope that you try this, because it's easy, it's delicious, and it's a great way to store your tomatoes.